Now, many residents in Gauteng and the North West have been left high and dry. This after a power outage at a water treatment plant has left them facing a water shortage. A fell fire at an Eskom substation affected power supply to Rand Water's Zekerbosch facility. So let's get the latest from Rand Water's Eddie Singo now, who joins me to give clarity on this matter. Mr. Singo, a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for your time. What exactly is the root problem to this lack of water in both Gauteng and the North West province?
Good morning to yourself and the viewers of ENCA. On the 26th, in the midday, we started experiencing what we call power dips. And on investigation, we then realized that Eskom at their Snowden substation, they are experiencing a fell fire that affected their transmission lines. And when that happens, for safety purposes, then they need to then switch off power to ourselves. But this time, they did not necessarily switch off, neither did their breakers switch off, but the power dips took out our pumps, which is a safety feature, so that we do not lose them, totally. So what then happened is they then came through, worked on that, ensured that the fire is extinguished, and by about 17:45 of that very day, they partially restored power, with the full restoration being just before midnight.
Yeah. And has Rand Water been battling to keep up with demand even before this power outage?
No, yes, and I think we have been at pains to ensure that consumers understand that the design capacity is being exceeded. Meaning that we design, let me give you the figures. On average, internationally, the consumption per person is about 174 liters per day per person. Now, in South Africa, on average, it's 235, which is far higher than what we have designed for. We've designed for around 200 liters per person. South Africans have exceeded that, and even on the other side. And that is why on the 26th of August, we engaged with all our municipalities. We communicated that we are going to manage that back, not even to 200, but to around 220, just to ensure that we do not empty the system. And I must indicate that our consumers responded positively. We were doing so well until, unfortunately, the incident that happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll get to how long this incident that happened on Sunday will take to be resolved. But you mentioned quite an interesting point here about the consumption of water in this country. What's the intervention there beyond hand-to-mouth survival mode? Just making sure that all South Africans, or at least in Gauteng, as well as parts of the North West, receive water without interruptions or without you battling to meet demands. Are there any plans whatsoever in place to ensure that water supplies will meet the demands that we speak of this morning?
No, ma'am. I think there are a few things that we are doing at the moment. One, we are busy with water demand management programs. For the past 4 or 5 weeks, you would have seen myself and other colleagues, the chief operating officer, talking to consumers to ensure that we reduce our consumption. And what we don't want to do, we don't want to get used to the demands that are higher than normal. As soon as the demands exceed the normal levels, we've got a responsibility to ensure that we manage that and curtail that. Why do we do that? As Rand Water, we've got a license from the Department of Water and Sanitation. It allows us to to abstract 1,374 million cubic meters per annum. As we speak now, we've exceeded 1,600 million cubic meters per annum. That's massive. So we do educate.
Right.
We will manage that to that level. But of course, we also are saying, let's increase our purification and pumping capacity. We have been talking about that. We are currently finalizing the construction of a new engine room. The purification plant is completed.
All right, so what I'm also hearing from you, Mr. Singo, if I can jump in there because of time, is that consumers must use water sparingly as well to assist you in those efforts. Just before I let you go briefly, please, with regards to the water dips, that we're talking about right now, that have to do with the, Eskom substation affecting, obviously the water supply. How long can that be fixed, do you think? Any timelines you can give to the consumers? Briefly, please.
No. Remember, I indicated that on Saturday, everything was finalized. We are back. Eskom brought power back by midnight. Everything was done. By yesterday around 3 o'clock, we were already pumping fully. Right. And so far, there is no municipality except for Ekurhuleni that has indicated that they have run dry. Of course, there are sporadic challenges here and there in the systems, but in the main, we are back to normal.
I appreciate you talking to me. Eddie Singo, thank you so much for your time this morning, all the way from Rand Water, assuring South Africans there that they're doing all they can to restore water within, of course, these regions.